Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Non-Native Leader, my video podcast series where we explore the lives, the professional lives, the adventures, the journeys of people who were not born in an English-speaking country, but they're using English as their language for work, for their life, for their professional life and for their daily interactions in an international context. If you follow the series, you see we've spoken to people in think tech, the arts, the politics, even. So, a whole range of different professionals. And my name is Daniele, and I'm the host of the podcast. And I'm super happy today to have here with me Peter. So, Peter, hi.
Hi, well, thank you for being here, for inviting me here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So, Peter, I usually start with very simple questions. So,
Bring him
who
on.
are you? What do you do? Where are you?
I'm Pieter Van Der Meer. I live in the Netherlands, close to Amsterdam. I'm a consultant, and currently I have having an assignment with Booking.com here in Amsterdam as a senior data engineer.
Well, data engineer. I've always found that fascinating, data engineer. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Then I go like, yeah, but what do they do? I don't know. What is a data
Well,
engineer? Like, yeah, I'm
a data
curious.
engineer, at least that's my explanation. It's always, I say I'm a software engineer with a focus on data. So
Okay.
moving data in and out of systems, maybe doing some transformations in that part and preparing everything for analysts, data scientists, that area. So what I currently do at Booking, I collect quite a bit of data on hotels, reservations, and what their pace is, how many bookings do hotels have. And that data is then later used by account managers from within Booking to give tips on how they can get more customers. I think that's or more bookings. Wouldn't say more customers because that's sort of irrelevant. They want to have more bookings through their platform.
Absolutely. Well, it's fascinating.
It
And
is,
yeah.
and it's a lot of data that they're moving around there. So
And and it's like, okay, do you always work on your own or is like team interactions? I'm just curious, it's
yeah,
my
well, it's very because since it varies a bit. Sometimes I'm at jobs that I'm fairly single-handed. It's me, myself, and I. In another context, it's just in a larger team. My job currently with Booking is fairly solo because I'm one of the few people that understand the technology that is being used to provide the data to the analysts. But in order to get my data, I need to speak with quite a few other people that are responsible for the source data sets.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Again, I'm getting more insights. It's
Uh,
it's
no
it's
worries.
uh it's pretty valuable to me because I'm curious, so I always ask people. Okay. And now you are working for Booking.com, which is an international company, of course. And so you're working in an international environment, I suppose, because it's
Yeah.
not only the Netherlands, but obviously it's a multinational company, right? Um, so your international experience, if you had to identify one main challenge, what has been your main challenge in your international experience?
Well, speaking English in general is not an issue because I grew up as being a Dutchie and um all television is in English, and I had English at school and had quite an international group of friends when I was, especially when I was studying. So the main language, especially when I played volleyball, the main language was English.
Okay.
And that team, I think we were a team of 11, and there were two people from the Netherlands, and the rest was all over the world. So our main language was English. And what I, in general, work, the main language is a lot of the times it's English, and it's spoken 9 out of 10 times by non-native English speakers.
Wow.
That is sometimes it's really hard to understand them. If you, for example, people from India, they have a really specific sound to their English, and it's sometimes it is really hard to understand the different dialects that people speak.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it, I suppose.
True,
So,
but sometimes it's really hard if somebody really has a national accent in their English. Sometimes it's like, oh yes, that's what he's saying.
yeah, I always find it interesting because obviously, I mean, you said it's like in your youth, you were playing with people, like most of them were non-native English speakers, of course, and so it makes it more interesting. And at the same time, you confirm the general idea that if you're exposed to the language earlier in your life, then things somehow get easier,
Yeah,
And
it does. I see that a lot with my son. He's now 18. He started speaking English when he was 10, 11, mainly through gaming and things like that. But
yeah.
sometimes when I hear him speak now, he can speak English with a posh British accent. And I'm like, how? Where did you learn that one? And then you
Yeah,
would say if you just randomly meet him and he will is speaking that tone, you would say, I think you're native, because he's spot
yeah,
on with the accent, and that is a lot of fun. And for me, it depends a little bit in what kind of environment I work, what my accent will be. I tend to swift quite easily between different accents. And I think I told you when we met before, when I was traveling, I was speaking an accent that was a mix of Australian, New Zealand, British English, American English, and Dutch English. And that was so weird for some people.
oh yeah, yeah, I bet it was, and yeah, unexpected to say the least.
Yeah, unexpected. And then sometimes I had real lengthy discussions with native speakers that said, "You're native." I said, "No, I'm not."
No, technically, I'm not. I
Yeah.
learned it when I was young,
Yeah,
but I'm not native. Yeah, that's cool. I like I mean, I like your approach. Like, since day one, you were exposed obviously to an international environment, and you've
yeah,
always kept that with you, and you're now, sharing it with your son. So, and it seems to me that he has similar approach again. Like
yeah,
we,
yeah. He's fairly open to it. He's in a bit of a hassle now because he has to learn fluent German for his year off. So that is a bit of a challenge for him. But yeah, he's picking it up as well. He can understand it quite well now, and speaking will be. We'll see in when will he be back in March? We'll see how his German is.
yeah, let us know. I'm curious.
Yeah, well, same here. But yeah, he probably has to learn German as well because he's going to work in a German-speaking country. Uh,
Right.
yeah, he's also open to it, but mainly by
Which is
doing it.
Yeah, that's a great
Reading books.
approach, yeah. So being exposed to different languages and then somehow getting the drive, that push, say, okay, I have to learn another one, no problem, I'll
Yeah,
do it. And by doing it. So learn by
yeah,
doing it
yeah, yeah. Just
the
yeah,
best way.
just go for it,
Yeah.
and I can understand a bit of Spanish, but when I'm back in a Spanish-speaking country, after a week, I can manage. I will
Yeah.
not say I can have a fluent discussion in Spanish, but I can get around and ask
Yeah.
directions and
That's good. You will
get my food and
survive.
what I want. Sorry?
Yeah, you can survive in Spain. That's
Yes.
official.
Yeah, I will
You
survive even if nobody speaks English or Dutch in that
Okay.
area.
That's good. That's good. That's exactly what you need. Surviving in a country. It all starts
Yeah,
with that. You're there. And I mean, like reversing the approach, obviously you are in your own country today, but you speak and you work internationally. So how are you surviving in an international environment?
I think I'm doing well. I wouldn't say the jobs are lined up for me, but I'm doing good. Yeah, it just works out. I think my English is at a more than good enough language level to have multiple kinds of discussions, technically, but also just interpersonally, when I talk to other people. The problem is, especially when they're personal talks, and then because then you have a variety of subjects, and then I'm sometimes like, I know this word in English, but what is it?
Yeah.
And then being a dyslexic as I am, um, my mind will work really hard to use a different sentence so I don't have to use that word.
Which is,
And that's a trick that I do in general. Even in Dutch, I do that because sometimes words in Dutch are for me quite difficult to pronounce. And yeah, then
yeah,
I just rephrase my sentence and no, I don't have to use that word anymore.
exactly. I mean,
And
I think,
that's the tricks
okay,
that I use.
exactly. So I think apart from the dyslexia, obviously, which is, I mean, something that creates even more color to the in the picture, but I think it's a great process anyway. So like all of us, we all forget words, and I suppose we have two choices there. We can either keep silent and freeze because we can't remember the word, or we go around it. We rephrase, as you was said.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I think
Or
it's a
just use that word.
well, I don't know, like put a different word in there, but like going around
Yeah,
it, it's just the best approach, I think, so that we avoid the worst thing ever, which is we don't speak. We we
yeah.
can't afford
No,
not to
but
speak, you know?
no, but in a lot of discussions, or mainly in work, you cannot allow yourself not to speak because you're trying to achieve something within the organization where you're hired for. And yeah, you have to speak and have to make yourself clear in whatever means is possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And going beyond language, right? Because you were exposed to English since you were young, and you have been exposed to English since you were young, and you've had many opportunities. But you said it's essential to be clear. So, what else goes in there? Like, it's not only the language, but what else do we need in an international environment?
Well, you have to be aware of cultural differences, especially. I think a lot of people know the Dutch can be quite blunt and straightforward, which is not always appreciated by different cultures. I mainly experienced that when because I did a program with quite a few Indian developers, and some of them were in India, and some of them were in the Netherlands, and communicating with those guys was sometimes hard because they saw me as the mother of all programming, and they looked up to me because I was older, had a lot more experience than they had, and in the hierarchy I was also a bit higher up, and that was really hard to make them aware, guys, I'm just one of you. I might be in the lead, but I can say stupid things as well. And that is sometimes, that is the cultural thing that always comes around when you start working with in an international organization. Some parties do not appreciate the way you were brought up.
Hmm. Okay, so being too direct or yeah, I mean I see what you mean there because obviously this kind of approach to different ranks to hierarchy it's different wherever you
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
And yeah, that can create confusion.
yeah. But not only confusion, but also people can be reluctant to either say something to you, or the way you say something can be. Look, now I'm looking for a English word, so they can interpret your words incorrectly, and they can get a certain view of you. Oh, he's an arrogant prick, and he doesn't listen to me. But that was not what I intended to bring over to the table. I just
Absolutely.
make my point clear. And sorry, I used the wrong words in your culture.
Yeah, yeah, it's an interesting point. And do you have like a recipe around it? So, because now you are very experienced, so I
Yeah,
guess you've had many of these, again, a lot of experience in international teams and dealing with different cultures. So, do you have like a recipe now, or something that you use so that you don't make the same mistake again?
Well, I don't really have a recipe. Most of it is I just learned it along the way. And yes, of course, I did have, especially when I started working with people from India, I had some courses. Okay, what are cultural differences and where do you need to look out for on how you do things? Mainly, it's just experience. But also, if I start working with somebody new from a culture where I know there's maybe a little bit more hierarchy, for example, if you start working with German people, that they tend to be more hierarchical than the Dutch. So, but you have to be aware that is there, yeah, and then try to fit yourself into that pattern on communication level, and that
Okay.
it's not always easy. Right? And you always make mistakes, and sometimes especially if I got a feeling that the people I talk to misunderstand me, I tend to say, guys, I'm Dutch. Sometimes I'm really blunt in saying things. If you feel that I'm too blunt or saying things in a manner that you don't like, please give me feedback. Because 9 out of 10 times I'm not even aware that I'm doing it because it's something that is within me, within our culture.
Yeah, again, another interesting point. I like the fact that you are aware, you're self-conscious there, so you know that you were brought up like that, and it's partly your culture, partly your personality, which is absolutely okay. But I guess the key point there is awareness, so that you tell people and you say, guys, give me honest feedback. And I think that's probably the best approach. So because people say, okay, so yeah, he's saying this, so maybe I'll tell him. And look, Peter, can you actually rephrase that because it feels
Yeah,
it's a bit too direct.
yeah, no, but and it, I think it helps if you do, if you're open like that. This is my way of communicating. I try to adhere to the rules of the game that where you're working in. But yeah, please give me feedback if I break rules that are normal within the organization. And it's not only cultural differences, it can also be within organizations. One organization is really laid back, maybe startup style, and everybody is equal, and you can say anything to anybody. And the next time you're working at a company, booking is more of a startup like organization. But for example, if you go to a bank, there's more hierarchy there, and you have to be aware.
Yes. And now, a curiosity, did you ever get any feedback? So
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
someone told you, look, I either like this is not clear or I don't like the way you're phrasing it.
Yeah,
So like I'm
yeah,
just curious,
yeah,
can you tell me
I,
about an
I had
episode?
I had a few of those experiences. Some were good, some were like, oh, I really messed up there uh, by just being too direct and just being me. Because I tend to be quite direct in general. And yeah, that it didn't work out always. Let me put it that way. I had a few confrontations with management that didn't work out in the way that I wanted it to be. But yeah,
And did you
it
find a
happened.
solution around it, or was just
Yeah,
that the
we found a
end?
solution. No,
Okay.
no, we found a solution on it, and for one case, it was more okay. I think you guys should not work too closely together because, but that was more on a personal level that
A
we,
clash of personality, yeah, of course.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that didn't work out, and yeah, that went higher and higher and higher, and then yeah, sort of exploded. That was not a good thing to do, but it happened.
Okay.
But we
Yes.
afterwards, I guess, and there's one, well, maybe one nice example when I was working with. Nowadays it's just a friend of mine. But when we were in a meeting, we had one time that we were sitting in a meeting with I think 10 or 15 people, and 13 people left the room because we were having a discussion, and
Okay.
a real harsh discussion about something technical. and people were like, "Oh, they're gonna kill each other." And but that was the way how our personalities were, yeah, competing with each other in a technical discussion. Because after that discussion, we went to the coffee machine and drank coffee together and had a total different discussion about something totally different, and we were still good friends. But
Yeah,
we have discussed that how we communicate with each other, that we were not angry or disappointed in each other when we had such a kind of discussion. We were all both were like, this is a professional discussion. You're coming from point A, I'm from point B, and we don't agree, and we're gonna tell each other.
that's it.
And that worked.
Yeah, I mean, and then you know it's technical, so
Yeah.
like you either go this way or that way, I suppose. Hard
Yeah.
to find a compromise.
Yeah, there's some we had some fundamental differences on the direction that we needed to go with the architecture.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So it's something definitely worth fighting for.
It was, but we were still good friends
Yeah.
in between, and that was
And I'm
really hard
curious.
for other people to see.
Yeah, that's I'm curious about this. So what like so did you talk to the other people afterwards or
Yeah, yeah,
was there a way that
yeah.
you
Especially since that meeting, then everyone was like, "Oh, what happened here?" Uh,
yeah.
that we had another meeting with the both of us, with all the guys that were in the meeting there, and we just explained, guys, this is something that's between us. We're fun on technical level, we don't agree on certain fundamentals, and we really fight for our own thing, and we come to a compromise in the end. The language and the way of speaking is maybe a little bit harsh and hard to cross for other people, but we're good friends. It's not a fight. We're just standing up for our beliefs, and yeah, maybe we're a little bit harsh in it. And if we do it again, please say, guys, chill. And that worked out.
Perfect. Yeah, I just love it. Yeah, I mean there is always a way to find a compromise
Yeah,
even when it comes to technical details, but at the same time, if everybody is aware that is the communication style and it doesn't really affect private life, it's just
no,
something that stays in the meeting room,
yeah.
then it's perfect.
And,
Yeah.
and that it did. It stayed in the meeting room, and when we were outside the meeting room, we could have fun with each other.
Great, great. Yeah, they're like the third time, the rugby third time after
Yeah, yeah,
after
but
the
that's
match.
yeah, but it's something like that, because I know you're a rugby fan as well, and I'm a rugby fan. What happens on the field stays on the field, and when you're playing a game, yes, sorry, I want to win, and if you're in my way, you're coming down.
Yep.
But after the game, it's like, yeah, you played a good game, you did well,
Exactly. Fair play to you. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, it's just the rules of the game.
Absolutely. So, Peter, in your international career, so we spoke about exposure when you were a kid. We spoke about, the difference in communication, technical, etc. Now, is there a moment or an experience, anything that you would identify as your turning point?
On using my second language.
Well, maybe like even in general, like in having this easy approach in an international environment, or being like sure and confident on what you do and what you say and how you do and how you say it. So, like a moment you said, okay, this is what I want to do and this is how I'm going to do it, and I'm happy with it.
That's a hard question. I think I developed my personal style over the years, because I started out as being just a C programmer, and now I'm data engineer slash architect. So that's a long trajectory to get somewhere. And yeah, along the way, I found my own style on doing things. And um, the jiu-jitsu sport and being a trainer and a coach for quite some time, you
Okay.
learn you to motivate people and get
Yeah.
them to work for you. And I
Oh,
think that,
yeah.
that being a coach trainer for a volleyball team, that helped me a lot on what can I do to make them work for me. make them do things that they are not always happy about. Because if you're a trainer and you say, okay, guys, do 15 laps, they're like, no, I don't want to do 15 laps. But you still have to motivate them to give them a bone why they're doing that.
Yeah. I
And
love
that's something
this.
that I incorporate in when I'm managing a team. I also do that as well. You have to
Yes.
keep goals. So this is where we're going to.
Yeah, I totally understand that because when you're teaching, a big part of it is motivation. So you have to motivate people who are
Yeah,
listening to you. So you want them to do something, but why? Why should they do that? Why should they
yeah,
follow you even? And so yeah, I love this approach. So obviously when you're on the field and you have like a group of players and you want them to do something, you have
yeah.
to work hard on motivation. And I
And you have
suppose
to
yeah,
and you have to earn their trust.
yes,
Especially in
exactly.
coaching, if you say, guys, you gotta do A or B, it doesn't really matter what it is. They have to see that, oh, if I really do it, it helps.
Uh-huh. So you see the benefits, and then after that, then you build a trust. Say, okay, he
Yeah,
asked me to do
there has to be
something.
trust somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Love it. And then you obviously can move that into the professional world. So from
Yeah.
coaching in football to coaching teams to leading teams and managing
Yeah.
projects. Absolutely. That's a great approach. Yeah. We could call it a turning point. I don't know, but yeah, obviously it's
No,
something
yeah,
that changes your mind, when
yeah,
you start working with people. Yeah.
yeah. I wouldn't say it's a turning point. It's a gradual process that
Yeah.
happened over years.
Absolutely. But at the same time, coaching people on the field helps you build that awareness and that new
Yeah,
mindset that eventually,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's something that you pick up there, and it's a small trusted environment, and you can't do wrong, not really. And yeah, and it is fun to do to coach a team playing sports. That it's a lot of fun.
it's hard work, but yeah, definitely. I think it is
Yeah,
good fun.
at certain times during games, your heart rate is a bit high.
Yeah, maybe we could do another episode on managing stress. How do you deal with
Yeah,
that?
well, I think we need more than one episode for that one.
Yeah, definitely. Look, Peter, we're towards the end of our chat, right? So, I usually end with one question. So, we spoke about going international, leading teams, working with international teams. So, would you have any recommendations for people who want to have an international experience, in a sense, like working an international team and being confident and comfortable in an international team?
Yeah, I think there are two things that you have to be aware of. You have to be proud of the language that you can speak, and that can be your native language or the language within the organization. 9 out of 10 times that's English. Be confident that you can speak that language to a good enough level to do your thing. And the other part is be aware of what kind of organization you're working in. The feeling on what's the hierarchy, what's the move, what can I say, what can I not say, how should I act? Just being aware how you can be part of the group or team that you come to work in. And it doesn't really matter if your English is at, I don't know exactly the levels, but I believe the A1 is the highest or the other way
It's
around.
the other way around. Yeah, but yeah,
The other
yeah,
way around, that doesn't really matter if you're really proficient in the language that you need to communicate within that organization. That doesn't really matter as long
yeah,
as you have enough words and vocabulary to express yourself, and don't be afraid to use uh, native words in when you're talking, because sometimes people are like, what was that word? And then you can make them aware, guys, this is not my native language. Sometimes I struggle to find the correct words for the things that I want to express. And then it gives you a little bit credit if you say something awkwardly or whatever.
yeah. Absolutely. It's not the end of the world, is it?
No. And even the native English speakers sometimes make sentences that you're like, is that anywhere near correct? And then you're like, well, he's native, so probably.
Should be, yeah.
Yeah, it should be, but sometimes it's not.
Cool, yeah. But I love the approach, like, hey, take it easy, you know? It's like we're all trying, we all come from different parts of the world.
Yeah,
So yeah, we all try. We all the objective is to communicate, so we make mutual effort and eventually we're gonna get there. So
yeah,
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 absolutely.
and that's say I grew up with there's no weird question, there's no funny question. Any question you ask, it's always a good one. You might get a shitty reply on that, but the question in general is always good
Yep.
because because apparently you don't understand something.
Yeah. There are no stupid questions. There might be
No,
stupid answers, but
true.
that's
The stupid question, it ain't there. It ain't there.
yes, absolutely.
And be aware if people ask you questions as well, it's never a stupid question.
Absolutely. Peter, I love this approach and I thank you very much for sharing it with me. I think it was honest, direct, and at the same time relaxed, which is
Yeah,
everything we need really to work internationally, to live internationally.
yeah,
So,
we definitely need.
thank you very much for being here with me, Peter. It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you for
And
inviting me, and
absolutely.
we'll be having contact later on in our lives. I think I'll hope to be back in Italy soon. So
Yeah, do let me know because I'd love to meet you again after
yeah,
co-demotion.
yeah. And if you're in the Netherlands, just ping me, and we'll have a
Absolutely, I
beer
will.
again soon.
And everybody, thank you very much for sticking around, for watching, for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And I see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye bye.